Haute couture, wearable art handcrafted from a designer's unique vision. The term is French, and the industry has long been dominated by European designers. Until now. Indian designers have arrived on the haute couture scene, bringing with them their fine skills, exquisite craftsmanship, and rich history deeply rooted in centuries of Indian artisanship. Join us as we explore how Indian designers have broken into one of the world's most exclusive clubs and the benefits to brand India and the Indian fashion and couture industry in years to come. Indian designer Rahul Mishra presented his Cosmos collection at Paris Haute Couture Fashion Week on January 23rd. Mishra is the first Indian designer to have been invited to show his collection at this prestigious event, having debuted in Paris last year. This year, Mishra was joined by Gaurav Gupta, who presented his collection on January 26th, Republic Day. Haute couture, or literally high sewing, is the creation of high-end, custom-fitted pieces made by hand from beginning to end. Mishra's Cosmos collection, for example, showcased pieces which took from between 400 hours to 7,000 hours to make. Mishra has also been known to employ artisans from various villages across India who all worked from their homes.
This Cosmos is not just a collection, it's an idea of inclusivity, idea that does not showcase my excellence, the idea which showcase a group's excellence, the idea which showcase this best of craftsmanship, which in a most simple form can happen from different villages. So today we engage and work with at least 800 to 900 villagers on regular level.
For those familiar with the fashion industry in India, the amount of painstaking work which goes into various garments is no surprise. With two great Indian designers already being featured on one of the world's most exclusive runways, there is sure to be more attention and focus on the fashion and couture industry in India. The haute couture fashion industry was estimated at 11472.61 million USD in 2021 and is projected to reach 13456.6 million USD by 2028, exhibiting a compound annual growth rate of 2.3% during this period. While Indian designers are only beginning to attain their much-deserved recognition in the world of haute couture, the textile and apparel industry in India has long been strong across the spectrum from fiber, yarn, and fabric to apparel. India's ready-made garment exports are expected to see a compound annual growth rate of 12 to 13% and surpass 30 billion USD by 2027. The industry is the second largest employer in India after agriculture. India's textile exports were also the highest ever during the financial year 2021 to 2022, surpassing 44 billion USD. Growth drivers of the industry include an abundance of raw materials, competitive manufacturing costs, and availability of skilled labor.
India has naturally been sustainable in its history. You know how khadi is made, or how a lot of textiles in India are made and hand woven, and it's not just sustainable ecologically, but environmentally, but it's also sustainable in a sociological atmosphere where employment is fair and it's given, and there's a whole system to livelihood.
There is also significant foreign direct investment in the textile industry, with FDI bringing in 1522.23 million USD from 2017 to 2022. The government's efforts, including the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, with an approved outlay of 10,683 crore, will allow the industry to compete globally. With India's strong economic foundation and rapidly expanding middle class, the fashion industry in India is expected to become increasingly organized and profitable. The Fashion Design Council of India, which is committed to furthering the cause of Indian fashion and to endorsing and encouraging Indian designers to grow their brands sustainably, both domestically and internationally, is and will continue to be a key driver of this push. Sunil Sethi, the chairman of the Fashion Design Council of India, is confident that the Indian fashion industry will continue to grow over the next few years, with business having returned to pre-pandemic levels. Much of the Indian fashion industry was solely focused on bridal wear and ethnic wear. With increased demand, locally and globally, Indian designers are on track to take the world's runway by storm.
We follow all the compliance rules. We are no longer a cottage industry. We now have regular big factories, whether it is in Noida or in Delhi or in Gurgaon or in Bangalore or in Mumbai. What's important is we operate as factories now. We have the supply chain logistics with us, which we didn't have earlier.
With Rahul Mishra and Gaurav Gupta already holding their own amongst the world's top couturiers, Brand India's take on the global fashion industry is soon to be another notch in her belt. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah El-Sisi was the chief guest at India's annual Republic Day celebrations last month. His visit held huge significance, for this was the second time an Arab world leader was invited to one of India's most important events in only 6 years. This is even more significant given that for 2021 and 2022, India did not have any chief guests owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. India, which is fast emerging as a dominant force in the rapidly evolving global geopolitical scene, is focused on bolstering relations with the Middle East. The reasoning behind this push is simple. Firstly, the Arab world and the Middle East's strategic and economic importance cannot be ignored. And secondly, India, who is increasingly being recognized as a global leader, cannot be exclusionary in its outlook and approach. Egypt, also called the Gateway to Africa, is a dual-layered opportunity and prospect for India. And India, being one of the biggest economies and consumers in the world, can cater to the market needs of Egypt. Both countries have acknowledged that their symbiotic relationship could be of great significance to their people. They have agreed to elevate the terms of their engagement to a strategic partnership.
हमारी द्विपक्षीय भागीदारी को स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के स्तर पर ले जाने का निर्णय लिया है। हमने तय किया है कि भारत इजिप्ट स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के तहत हम राजनीतिक, सुरक्षा, आर्थिक एवं वैज्ञानिक क्षेत्रों में और अधिक व्यापक सहयोग का लॉन्ग टर्म ढांचा विकसित करेंगे। हमने मिलकर यह तय किया कि अगले 5 वर्षों में हम अपने द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को $12 बिलियन तक ले जाएंगे।
The bilateral trade between India and Egypt has experienced a boom in recent years, so much so that even the pandemic could not hamper its expansion. The trade between the two countries amounted to $7.26 billion in 2021 to 2022. This was 75% more than the previous year. India exported goods and merchandise worth 3.74 billion USD in this period as well, registering a 65% increase compared with financial year 2020 to 2021. Apart from this, some 50 Indian companies, including the renowned Mahindra, Godrej, and Dabur India, have invested in Egypt, with combined receipts of 3.15 billion USD. When the wheat supply from Ukraine to Egypt hit roadblocks created by the Russia-Ukraine conflict, India came to the rescue. 61,500 metric tons of wheat was cleared for Egypt by India in May of last year. While trade has been a dominant aspect of Indian foreign policy, what sets Egypt apart from other Arab countries where religious prejudices have often trumped rationale is its moderate and measured voice. New Delhi and Cairo have also committed to jointly combating the menace of terrorism.
لمزيد من التنسيق في ذلك المجال الحيوي فلا تنمية بدون استقرار أمني. كما استعرضت مع دولة رئيس الوزراء ما أسفرت عنه القمة العالمية للمناخ كاب 27 بشرم الشيخ من نتائج مهمة، خاصة ما يتعلق بإنشاء صندوق لتمويل الخسائر والأضرار المترتبة على التغيرات المناخية، لا سيما في الدول النامية التي تعاني فيها البنية التحتية من الضعف وعدم القدرة على الصمود أمام آثار التغيرات المناخية.
Several experts have opined that a collective Arab world position on terrorism and its perpetrators could strengthen India's case against the terror export hub of Pakistan. Diplomacy and trade will play a key role in the course ahead. Egypt could be of great significance to India for both its political and strategic needs, and also to deepen and strengthen its presence in Africa. For now, Egypt and India have set out on a voyage that will resurrect the ancient past when India and Egypt were the cradles of technically advanced civilizations and the envy of the world.